Video begins, just wanted to say a quick thank you to Laceis. I'm sorry for butchering your name, but thank you for the 260 gold. I got it. I don't know if that was intentional or unintentional, but if it was intentional, then thank you very much. I really appreciate the kind gesture. What's going on, guys? This is the one-man army, Mr. Easy for Life, coming back at you guys once again with another WoW video. More importantly, another Journey to Expert Healing episode. Here it is. Sorry this took so long to get this out to you guys, but there's a few reasons why, and we'll go into the reason why that is in just a little bit. I have a few disclaimers. But what you're seeing, okay, so I want to tell you guys what you're seeing on screen right now. Okay, now what you're seeing is pretty much a huge 2-hour long montage of almost every single vanilla dungeon boss encounter I went through, with the exception of Nomergon. And the reason for that is because I didn't run Nomergon. I have no idea why. You would figure levels 24 to 60 you would at least hit every single vanilla dungeon at least once, but nope, I didn't hit Nomergon for whatever reason. I didn't do it. So there's no footage of that. So sorry about that. But other than that, I think I hit every other dungeon in vanilla, every single one of them. If I'm missing one, then besides Nomergon, I may be missing one. But for the most part, I think I got all the boss encounters. And yeah. So also, I wanted to say thank you to anyone who watches this forever, for however long you do, whether it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, or even 30 minutes, or even the whole thing, because that's great too. I just want to say thank you so much for any support you give this episode, as well as the previous or future episodes, because, I mean, at the end of the day, this series just isn't for my fun, or I guess another reason to play WoW, but it's also for your viewing and listening pleasure, so thank you very much. And if you make it to the end, just know that I love you, okay? So there we go. And a few disclaimers before we get started with this, okay? A few disclaimers. This commentary, this session, this episode is gonna be very, in terms of my commentary, is gonna be very unprofessional. All right, this is gonna be like a raw, uncut session. So I mean, if I make mistakes, if I stutter over my words like I probably have been already, then fuck it, man, I'm keeping it in, yeah, you're gonna get my genuine reactions as well as my commentary responses or whatever. I also wanted to point out real quick why this is a 2-hour episode, and kind of seems more like a podcast than an episode. And the reason for that is because I wanted to go through my entire vanilla questing in one episode. Okay, I'm trying to get to that sweet endgame content, right, with this character. So instead of cutting up this episode into like 30-minute sessions or like an hour long, no, like cutting it up into like 20-minute parts or whatever, I figure I just knock it out all in one go. So yeah, if you want to see, this is pretty much like I said, this is my levels 24, because I think that's where I left you guys off. I left you guys off at level 24 at the end of Wailing Caverns episode 2. And this time, I'm going from levels 24 to 60, okay? Knocking out the entire vanilla content. I figure because, if I was to cut this up into many episodes, I figure after 5 episodes, this would get boring. You guys, I know a lot of you just want to see some endgame content, so, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do here. In the next episode, we're going to be tackling into Burning Crusade as well as Wrath dungeons. And we'll go more into detail of like future plans and whatnot. Also because I haven't seen anyone do this. So if you notice what you're seeing, it's nothing but boss fights. It's nothing but boss fights, as well as like the moments when I leveled up to the next level. It's kind of like it's a huge like boss encounter as well as leveling up montage. I haven't seen anybody do this. I've seen people do things like, let's say like episodes where it's like a 20-minute episode, they do questing, and by the end of the 20-minute questing or episode, they only get 2 or 3 levels higher. You know, that shit gets boring to me after a while. So you know, in terms of like a montage or whatever, I haven't seen anyone do this, so this is like another chance for me to branch out and try something new. Hopefully this gets received well. I don't know, man. But yeah. Also, this is the only episode in the entire series that's probably gonna be 2 hours long. The next few episodes are only going to be ranging from 10 to 20, maybe even 30 minutes. If I said that already, I apologize for repeating myself. Some people don't listen, so I have to say it twice. Anyway, yeah, man. Yeah, this is going to be the only 2-hour episode in the series. So the next episode is probably only going to be like, I don't know, 10 to 20 minutes long. But like I said before in this disclaimer, that I wanted to knock out everything in one go in terms of the vanilla content. Okay, but other than that, man, I think that's about it. That's all I really wanted to say in terms of the disclaimer. There's a few topics I wanted to talk to you guys about right now, and these are going to be nothing but my thoughts and opinions, as well as maybe some tips and advice I can give you guys, mostly to the newer and casual players. This probably isn't going to apply to you veteran players, but either way, I got some topics here. I'm going to be talking about like my leveling experience in 7.3.5, as well as leveling up as a healer in general. Leveling up as a holy paladin specifically, as well as like relearning mechanics, relearning all these old mechanics, man. Some of the kinds of players you can run into, maybe some tips and advice in general, like I just said. What I was doing specifically to level up, as well as a few other things. We'll go into that as we go on this journey, this episode, this podcast, or whatever. What I recommend you doing, if you don't want to watch the entire 2 hours, you could probably just play this in the background. If you're playing WoW right now, you're questing up, you're leveling up your new character or new alt, or if you're one of those, if you got your allied races going, you're trying to get that heritage armor, maybe you can put this on the side. You know, maybe you can play this in the background. That's what I would recommend you doing if you don't want to watch the entire montage. You can just listen to what I have to say. That would be nice. That's probably what I would do. But fuck it, But at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, anyway, so. Yeah, I wanted to talk about like my leveling experience in general. So, the 7.3.5, since everything got scaled up, things have changed a lot in terms of the leveling experience. You can't face roll mechanics anymore, and there's a lot of factors that go into not being able to face roll things. Okay. I wanted to say overall my leveling experience so far has been pretty good. It's been very fun, it's been very adventurous, and it's actually made me a better player because of this. Okay, I'm able to go through my entire rotation, as well as learn about mechanics, as well as I guess knowing when to use specific spells and abilities to counter these big damaging abilities or mechanics, I guess. So yeah, overall, the experience has been great. I'm enjoying it so far. If you want to know where my character is at, he is currently, as I record this, he's level 70, and he's heading over to Karazhan. He's heading over to Karazhan because apparently there's this new meta where if you go to Karazhan, you can actually get from 70 to 80 within one play session, just by grinding out the mobs. Okay, you grind out the mobs, you get your looms, heirlooms, your enchants, or whatever, and you just go grind mobs there. And you'll get you'll get that bracket very easily, the 70 to 80 bracket. And you can run over. After that, you can go straight into Cataclysm dungeons or Moth dungeons. I think you can switch between those two. I'm not too sure. I haven't made it there yet. But that's what I'm speculating, since the fact that you could, at level 60, you could switch between TBC and Wrath dungeons. So, yeah. Whatever. But that's where he's at, man. He's on his way to Karazhan right now, and he's going to get those level 10 brackets, and it's gonna be great. But anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, okay, so the leveling experience, right? So overall, it's been great, and I have to say I'm enjoying the journey, and like I said, it's made me a better player because of it. Leveling up as a healer in general, man, I gotta say it definitely spices things up. I think I said this in the first episode, but if you wanted to spice up your gameplay, you gotta try playing a different role for once. So, yeah, that's and at the end of the day, that's what it really does. Playing a different role, as opposed to a role that you're very used to. Playing DPS all the time. You switch it up to healer, and all of a sudden your gameplay changes a whole lot. You're not monitoring. I'm not monitoring. just one HP bar. I'm monitoring multiple ones, not, including my own. And the challenge is to be able to keep everyone alive at all times, right? Because if one person starts to die, okay, now the fight's gonna go even slower. If the tank dies, then it's just gonna become an entire shit show. And I've had instances like that, I'm not gonna lie. Even in vanilla dungeons, because the fact that you can't face roll anything, you're gonna go through some times, depending on the people that you play with, where someone's gonna fuck up, the boss is only halfway dead, and we gotta deal with this. Okay, it's either a wipe, or if you got a really good healer, you could keep going. And that actually makes me a little bit concerned for some newer people, or I guess some I don't know, newer people that get into healing right off the bat. Or I mean, that's usually not the case, right? People always go DPS by default, but normally if you have a healer or a tank, they tend to be players that know what they're doing. They've been through this before, and this is a new experience for them, right? For the 7.3.5 scaling. But usually, sometimes you might end up getting those groups where you get a healer, and they're so used to being able to face roll the content that they don't expect these big damaging moves. Okay. And what turns out to happen is that they waste a cooldown, and they let the tank die, and it just becomes a whole shit show. And then, you'll get healers like that, where the tanks are constantly dying because the healer just doesn't know what to do. And I mean, that's fine, because that's all part of the process. Like I said, I've become a better player because of this, and it's great. But I don't know, it's a whole new experience, that's for sure. But leveling up as a healer, it's been fun. Overall, I'm having a lot of fun with this. I think I probably, out of all three roles, I probably play healer the best. I was always, well, thinking back, like, fucking, when I used to play other MMOs, I think I've always played support roles in general really good, or even like in MOBAs. Right, my support role has always been kind of, pretty much better than my DPS role. I've dipped into, in terms of like playing roles, I've dipped into a little bit of tanking, but it hasn't always been, I guess, successful, just because I'm pretty bad with direction. God, and especially in WoW's instance, when you queue up as a tank, people expect you to know the routes. You know where to go. Sometimes you get those few nice people in there, and they don't mind to help you lead. But in most cases, it's like you have this expectation that everybody expects you to know where to go. And I mean, I can play Prop Pally. Prop Pally is easy. It's one of the most user-friendly tanks I've ever seen. It's just the whole matter of like direction, where to go. And I can't remember. I can't remember a lot of the vanilla dungeon routes, so I didn't play it. Anyway, in terms of playing as a healer in general, I think it's been great. It's fun. It's a new challenge, and yeah, it's fun. It's great, and I'm looking forward to the end game stuff. I hear, because obviously, end game content. That's the stuff right there. That's it. That's when it becomes a whole lot more challenging, obviously, right? In current content, and you really got to know when to use your abilities in specific situations. Especially in Mythic Plus, right? I've never actually healed in Mythic Plus before, so it's gonna be quite the challenge. And in terms of like leveling up as a holy paladin in general, I've noticed something. I noticed that they're not very AOE friendly. I had Hammer of Light's Hammer. I was using that for a while. You saw in the first 2 episodes I was using Light's Hammer, but quickly I learned that towards the end, that's not necessarily the best route to go is Light's Hammer, and it's because of the mana cost. And I think they nerfed this before. I think the cost of that ability, that talent, was actually nerfed, but it's still not mana efficient. Now you're probably thinking, okay, well, why don't you just like chug a mana potion? I mean, I guess I could do that, but at the same time, in terms of like people who don't have alchemy privileges or don't know about mana potions, because there are people out there like that, they don't know that these potions exist, it's not necessarily the best route to go for in terms of mana efficiency. Now generally I didn't really have issues with mana unless it was something on my end, meaning my gear was pretty much broken. I forgot to repair it. Then my heals weren't doing a whole lot because I wasn't getting the intellect benefit. Yeah, okay. Then okay, you know, and I've had that happen. You know, that was one of the experiences I've had during this leveling experience in the vanilla stuff, is that I forgot to repair because we had wiped so many times, and it was specifically on Strathhome. I remember that because he's, you know, that's one of a more longer dungeon. There's a lot of mob packs. You know, we ended up wiping a few times in a few groups that I had, and not me being ignorant as I was, I did not check my gear, and I lost out on a whole lot of abilities that my gear was providing for me. So I remember at one point, I was running Strathhome, and three pieces of my gear, obviously wasn't the heirloom gear, were broken, and I had lost out on about 40 to 50 intellect. Now, 40 to 50 intellect doesn't seem like a whole lot, but when I'm talking about like the vanilla brackets, okay, like in that level 40s to 50s bracket, 50 intellect, that makes a world of a difference. And I was wondering to myself, well, why the hell am I not healing so much? You know, this is bullshit. And I was starting to get concerned. I was starting to think, well, was my decision to play a Holy Paladin wrong for me? Because it doesn't seem like I'm performing quite well, and I just, like, my Holy Shock was barely healing, my Flash of Light wasn't doing shit, and I was thinking to myself, well, how the hell, like, how am I supposed to do this? You know, like I said, getting so concerned with myself, thinking that this class, this spec, wasn't gonna live up to my expectations. It wasn't gonna be the class, the spec that I was hoping it to be. And come to find out, once I click C on my character, because when you click LVUI, I guess, you know, when you're using LVUI, it doesn't give you that silhouette of your character, and you know, you don't like when you're using the default UI and your gear is starting to break. You have that silhouette of like a man figure or whatever, like a character figure up in like the top left or top right, and it highlights the areas that are about to get broken. That shows like your durability or whatever. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But with LVUI, I don't have that. Okay, and I don't know if that's something they just took out by default, or I just didn't enable it or whatever when I was making my UI. So I didn't realize my gear was about to break, and I didn't put the durability on any of my panels. I have 3 panels. No, I have the panel on my chat bar, but all that shows is my FPS and the server time. That's about it. I didn't add durability into there, and that's an option that you could do, that you could use, which I highly recommend you do use. So as soon as I put that on there, I put the durability tab on there, I noticed that, like, yeah, it was saying like three of my pieces were at 0%, and I was like, oh shit, that's gotta be why. That's gotta be why. As soon as I repair, okay, let me tell you, as soon as I repair, it made the world of a difference. I went into Older Man, that dungeon Older Man, and I was just like healing. Like, one Holy Shock, one Flash of Light was topping their HP from 25% to like 75% in one Holy Shock. And then if my Holy Shock crits, it was like 25% to 100%. I was like, oh shit, like, this is incredible. And I was getting my confidence back, and it was great. And I was thinking, like, okay, so obviously, you know, I gotta keep an eye on my gear, you know. Especially after a whole lot of wipes in Strathhome, you gotta check your gear, your durability. That was just a noob mistake of mine. I've never had to encounter that before. I remember leveling before the 7.3.5 patch. I never encountered that because, once again, you could face roll everything. Okay, being able to face roll means you weren't taking a whole lot of durability loss, and you can pretty much just keep queuing up or keep on questing or whatever. And yeah, but in this case, it was a new experience for me. And I was beginning to realize that durability plays a huge part, even at this zone, even in this leveling bracket. It doesn't happen a whole lot, but, you know, what I was doing was basically queuing up for dungeons every time I got out of it, not even checking my gear at all. So, you know, you can see where I fucked up there. But yeah. Yeah, no. Getting back on, like, leveling up as a Holy Paladin in general, I think like I said, I think it's a great class. I think it's a very solid healing class. It's definitely, like I said, it's definitely not AoE friendly, right? Because I switched over to Bestow Faith, okay, and I had to quickly adapt to learning that talent's ability, Bestow Faith, and I feel like I gotta, yep, there it is, keeping that in, fuck it. But yeah, I switched over to Bestow Faith very early on, and because of the mana cost of Light's Hammer. Now I probably could keep, I probably could be, since keep using Light's Hammer because of you don't necessarily run into mana issues in the early game. But the thing is, if I get used to using Light's Hammer and I don't adapt to Bestow Faith early on, then there's gonna be a problem there once I get to end game. Okay, there's definitely gonna be a problem there. I'm gonna get to end game, and it's gonna be as if I boosted a character in a sense. I'm not gonna know how to use Bestow Faith properly or effectively, and I'm just gonna be depending on Light's Hammer. Then come to find out that if I don't have any pots with me, mana pots, I may run into some mana issues. So that's the whole reason why I switched over to Bestow Faith. But once again, that takes out an ability that does a lot of AoE, and the only thing I have to rely on is Light of Dawn. That's it. That's all I got. But also, it made me because of that, it made me realize that, alright, Holy Paladins are very bursty. They're very bursty in terms of healing. They actually have very bursty, or very solid bursty DPS. You can see this in some of the clips that I have here, that I do pretty good DPS as a healer. Then again, it is the early game, and it doesn't really matter. But I hear in end game, they have pretty decent burst DPS, as well as they're a very bursty healer. But the con of that is they're not very AoE dependent, which is the reason why you have people want Resto Shamans, Holy Priests, Mistweaver Monks, and well, pretty much all the other healers, I guess, because they're really good at AoE. Resto Shaman especially, they have really good AoE utility in terms of healing, and that's our abilities in terms of healing. So that's that's great, which made me think I may actually make my Resto Shaman my alternative character. Like I usually in MMOs, I usually have like 2 characters that I play the most. I have my main, and then I have my main alt that I like to call the one alt that I play the most out of all my other ones, and the other ones they'll probably just be there to I don't know, like transmog runs or whatever, another chance to run this. But yeah, I'll probably make my Resto Shaman my alt, just because of the I can have the best of both worlds. I can have like my bursty spot healing Holy Paladin as my main. Also because Paladins are a hybrid class. I like the lore of the fantasy, as well as the way their gear sets look, cosmetic wise, right? And then I have my Resto Shaman that does a lot of AoE healing, very good for raiding and whatnot, raid heals, right? So yeah, I might just do that. And plus, I like the animations. I actually do like the animations of Shaman, especially Enhancement Shaman. Man, Enhancement Shaman, that's my shit right there. Definitely a great class, and a very underrated class too. I actually looked at some statistics, and besides the monk, the Shaman right above the monk is actually one of the most least played classes in the game. Not sure why. It's Shamans are very good, but they're very underrated at the same time. Monks, I can understand the monks, why the monks are underrated, but Shamans as well. They're not that far up ahead of from the monks in terms of the amount of percentage played on the US servers. So yeah, I don't know, but either way, yeah, no. Made me realize that Holy Paladins, like I said, are very spot healers. They don't have much AoE, but because of their beacon, right? Because of the beacon, I can see why people say that this class, this spec, is like the ultimate tank healer. And you'll see this in the clips that I'm showing you right now with all these boss encounters. The tanks are getting, because of the beacon, the tank is pretty much up constantly, Unless, of course, it's the tank's fault that they die because they don't know how to mitigate damage and they're not using their skills properly. Or I'm just terrible in general. It could be a lot of factors. This is a very team-dependent game, and a lot of factors could be played into each encounter. But nonetheless, because of that beacon, it's amazing. It's amazing to me. I really like that gimmick. I really like, basically what I'm trying to say is I really like the gimmick of the beacon, right? The fact that I don't necessarily have to worry about the tank too much, and I can continue to spot heal everyone else while the tank is still receiving heals anyway. So that's fucking amazing. That is really awesome. And yeah, I don't know. Overall, I think it's a very solid healing class. A very solid healing class in general. I've noticed that they are definitely I don't know. Lots of good things to say. The only con I have to say though with Holy Paladin is just that they suck at AoE. That's all it is. But you know, with every class, there's always pros to cons to everything, and that's the Holy Paladin's con. Is that they're not very good at AoE healing, right? We only got Light of Dawn. And the cooldown on Light of Dawn is just like, in comparison to the other cooldowns like not Bestow Faith, like Holy Shock, it's, you know, that extra 3 seconds. I think Light of Dawn is about, it's all very haste dependent, of course, but by default, my Light of Dawn is like 11.6 second cooldown, while my Holy Shock is like 7 or 8 seconds. That extra 3 seconds of cooldown does add up over time, and the fact that it's only in it's like a proximity cone and doesn't necessarily heal everyone in general. It's not like, it is an AoE heal, but it's not an AoE heal at the same time, right? If you have someone like a hunter who's standing behind you, that obviously they're not gonna get it because it's just a frontal cone is all it is. So that's another thing too, is that you know, you have to positioning is so important, because there was a few times when I first got Light of Dawn, I remember this, that I would hit Light of Dawn, but because of my positioning, it wouldn't heal anybody. Like, I completely missed the cone, completely fucking missed, because I wasn't monitoring my my position. So you know, that's one of the key factors you have to take into consideration with that ability. But other than that, man, it's a fun class, and you'll notice I'm really trying so hard to do DPS and heal at the same time. And that just goes back to not being able to face roll everything. I'm not trying to sit here and make this a 5-minute fight. I'm trying to contribute as much DPS as I possibly can, because, you know, like I said, with this new patch, fights are taking relatively longer, and which actually leads me to say that this whole leveling experience is taking a whole lot longer. I've seen videos where people would be, you know, speed running. They would be speed running the entire leveling process 1 to 100 or whatever, 1 to 110 before pre 7.3.5, being able to face roll everything. But because, like, you know, like I said, because you can't do that, shit's taking a whole lot longer. So me contributing whatever DPS I have definitely helps the overall fight in general. And you see, you know, like I said, you see me doing that. In a majority of these clips, you know, throw down the Consecration. That's like one of the greatest moves for good, consistent, sustained DPS as a healer. Is that Consecration? It's great. It's amazing. One thing I do wish that they actually did with Holy Paladin, I kind of wish this was something exclusive for Holy Paladin, is that their Consecration would not only do damage but also heal your allies, whoever's standing in the Consecration, and that would kind of incentivize a bit more. I guess that would take care of the problem of not having a whole lot of AoE abilities, right? Is if you do the Consecration, and that's something exclusive only to the Holy spec, that would be awesome. That would be fucking amazing. But then again, that would also lead you to saying, well, that's not very balanced. You know, the fact that they have this Consecration that has a low cooldown and can heal just as much as, let's say, Light's Hammer, you'd be getting the best of both worlds, because you would technically be getting a Light's Hammer ability with Consecration, and you could still use Bestow Faith at the same time. So I think maybe it's gotta be due to a balancing reason, but I'm not too sure, right? I don't know. I've only just started playing this spec this month. Okay, the month of March. Okay, literally made the character at the beginning of March. We're coming towards the end of March, and I mean, these are just my thoughts so far, right? The thoughts that I have so far. But anyway, you know, I like the class, I like the spec, and I feel like if you're gonna be playing, especially like if you're gonna be playing like a hybrid class too as well, I really genuinely believe that you should take the time to master all 3 specs. Okay, I've mastered Retribution, I've dipped my toes into Prod. Prod's very user-friendly, so I'm very confident with Prod, even though I haven't played it as much. But for the duration that I have played it, I can tell you, excuse me, I can tell you that it's very user-friendly. Very, very user-friendly. And that's great. But like I said, I haven't touched upon Holy, not until this very month. You know, and I'm trying to, if I'm gonna main a class, I'm really trying to master all 3 specs. And if there's a spec that I really do enjoy, then that'll be my main spec. And so far, it's gonna be holy, because I'll tell you one thing, man. I am so tired of retribution. I really am. And 60%, I would say 60-70% of the entire paladin community are retribution paladins. But I'll tell you that because they streamline retribution so much, I don't find it fun anymore. I really liked ret paladins in Mists of Pandaria and all the expansions before that, excluding vanilla. I never played vanilla, but yeah, especially like I think, was it Kata or Mop? I think I have a lot of memories in Mop, to be honest with you, because I think that was around the time where I was really starting to get into the game. Was Mop? Yeah, I know. What the hell? What kind of, like, that's some expansion to get into, man. I get that. I understand that. That was like when the game was starting to go downhill or whatever. But I remember Retribution in Mists of Pandaria a lot, and I had a lot of fun. I had so much fun in Mists of Pandaria Retribution Paladin. But as soon as we got into WoD, I never gave a shit about WoD for the obvious reasons. I don't think I even have flying because of that. Yeah, I don't have flying. I don't have WoD flying. That's how much I didn't care about it. But I remember leveling up as a Retribution Paladin in Warlords of Draenor. It was starting to get stale for me. Like, I wasn't having fun. They took out so many abilities. We lost our Hammer of Wrath. Okay, thank God we're getting it back in BFA. We'll talk more about that later. But yeah, like they streamlined Warlords of Draenor Ret Paladin, and then they streamlined it even more in Legion. So now I'm left with 3 or 4 abilities, when I remember in Mists of Pandaria I had a whole arsenal. I had a whole arsenal of abilities, and it was fun. It was fucking amazing. Now I'm just left with 4 buttons. You know, all I have is my my Judgment, the Crusader Strike, the Blade of Justice, which used to be Hammer of Righteous. They gave it to a Prot. And Templar's Verdict. That's all I really was using. Now, of course, there was a case of like AoEing, then you get your Divine Storm. That's fine, And then, but besides that, it was mostly just Templar's Verdict. That was it. It was Judgment, Crusade, Blade of Justice, and Templar's Verdict. That's it. That's all I would be using. Everything else was just utility. But it didn't. Besides Avenging Wrath, it didn't, I guess, contribute to increasing your DPS. Everything else was just utility. The bubble, the Blessing of Protection, Rebuke was an interrupt. I forget, Hammer of Justice, the stun, if I remember that's what it's called. I don't know. But yeah, that was it. And I was thinking, like, damn, this is getting so stale. I don't like what they did to Legion. I really don't like Legion Retribution, the way it plays, the way it is. I just don't like it. I really don't. And I really hope that they change that in BFA, which it seems like from the footage, from the videos I'm seeing, it looks like they are. We're going to be getting our Hammer of Wrath back, and Execution Sentence gets a whole rework, and I'm thinking, looking at that talent, I may actually go back to Retribution. That may actually be my off spec. Because currently my only spec that I enjoy playing the most is Holy. But Retribution may go into my my off spec or whatever, just because of the new rework. Like, Execution Sentence looks fucking amazing. It's no longer a hammer that hurls from the sky, comes down real slowly. I don't know why I'm doing like the hand gestures. You guys can't even see me. But yeah, fucking. It's just a hammer that slams down, and then on top of that, it gives you like a 10-second buff on your holy spending abilities, and I'm thinking that's gonna be great. That could be so good for our parses. We have 10 seconds to bump out these Blades of Justice, bump out these no, it's holy spending abilities, so it's like you get 10 seconds to bump out like the craziest Templar verdicts as you can possibly do, as well as like your Hammer of Wraths and all that. So that's gonna be fun. I'm looking. It's looking to be very bright for the Ret Paladin and not so streamlined. I really wish they didn't take out Hammer of Wrath, though. I'll be honest with you. But another bright thing about that is that another bright thing about the BFA Ret is that we're keeping Wake of Ashes, so that's great. That's one of the artifact abilities. We're keeping that. I think that's fucking amazing. We get to keep that, and on top of that, we get to keep Crusade. Okay, I love Crusade. I love that. The talent ability. Okay, we don't have to. I remember early alpha BFA, you had to at the level 60 bracket, you had to choose. Oh no, it was a level 100 bracket. You had to choose between Crusade or Wake of Ashes. They threw Wake of Ashes into the 60 bracket, and that solves a lot of issues. That solved the biggest issue. Because I was thinking to myself when I saw that, I was thinking, well shit, what the hell am I gonna use? I gotta find what's the best parts. Do I keep Wake of Ashes? You know, it's a very good, you know, DOT over time, DOT AoE, high damaging ability, or do I keep my Crusade and lose out on another ability that contributes to my DPS? In the long run, I probably would have kept Crusade, just because of that haste buff that it gives over time. You know, the more holy spending abilities you use, the fucking faster you get, that stacks up over time. I love that. I probably would have picked that, but nonetheless, it looks great. I'm liking how it is. You know, I'm most likely gonna incorporate Execution Sentence back into my rotation, unless of course the Verdict talent, the one that we're default using, the one all the way to the left, is still better. But I always like to try things new, something new all the time. So yeah. What else was I gonna say? There's a lot more things I wanted to say. We're only like a few minutes in. How long are we in? Yeah, it's only been like a half an hour. Yeah, lots of more things. Well, there's a lot of other things I wanted to say anyway, as well as some things we're gonna do on the side. I kind of planned this out, but not really. I'm kind of just winging it. I wrote down like topics, but I didn't actually script any of it out, which is fine. That's how I usually work these videos, right? No script, just fucking one take Drake. Anyway, in terms of like in the whole leveling experience. No, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. Not the leveling experience, but the mechanics. Okay, so the mechanics for like the vanilla dungeons. I wanted to point something out. Was that there's a whole lot of like relearning, as well as just learning and discovering in general the mechanics of each boss in these vanilla dungeons. And since, you know, me personally, I never played vanilla, right? I'm not a vanilla player. I had to learn a lot of these mechanics right on the spot, you know. So it's like you got these two factors. I'm learning mechanics at the same time, as well as playing as a healer and learning to adapt to these big damaging abilities. You know, I don't necessarily know how much damage what ability is gonna do, and if I fuck up something, then it's gonna be pretty. It could be detrimental to me. I remember a few times when, like in Zul'Farrak, there's like the Hydra boss. He would knock you up in the air. I wasn't prepared for that, and a lot of people were taking a lot of fall damage. And me being only a spot healer, not much of an AOE healing healer, there was a whole lot of unpreparation for that, and it got a little bit sketchy because everyone wasn't. I mean, I was spamming Flash of Light, but he would knock us up again, do like a follow-up so quickly that not everybody was topped up on their HP, and I was like crossing my fingers. I was like, oh my god, don't die, don't die. I'm not prepared for this. I'm not ready for this. But nonetheless, we got it done. But it was sketchy. You know, I think I was on the brink of dying. I had to bubble. I remember because I was that low on HP in the Zul'Farrak run, just so I can start focusing on everyone else's HP bar, right? So yeah. Anyway, there's a whole lot of like relearning mechanics, and you'll see this. You see this in this footage. Like I'm adapting to these new mechanics. Well, it's not new mechanics, but it's like mechanics I've never been through before, as well as a whole lot of people. I ran into so many new players. So many new people. I don't mean to offend a lot of you if this is you. I don't mean to offend you, okay? If you're a new player, listen, we've all been here before. We've all, you know, experienced our noob mistakes, our noob era. You know, the time where we don't know what is going on, and, you know, we queue up as a DPS. We don't know things like mechanics. We don't know what that is. And all of a sudden, the fight changes up, and I'm taking a whole lot of damage. Like, what do? I get that. But this is like some of the people that I ran with. You know, the kinds of people that just didn't know what to do. They were standing in very avoidable damage. And it was, like I said, it was starting to stress me out as a healer. I finally understand what people mean when they say, don't stress out the healer. I get that now. I never understand. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Don't stress out the healer. I finally get it. And at some point, it would trigger me. And I get so pissed off. I'm thinking to myself like, damn man, you really gotta stand. Why? Like you absolutely are just gonna stand there and take damage. Like, you're really gonna do this to me? You know what I mean? Like, they would just stand in very avoidable damage and expect to get healed, and when they're not getting healed, they die. They get pissed off. They get pissed off, and I'm thinking like, well, what the hell you want me to do about it, man? You were standing in some very avoidable damage, and obviously I don't have enough heals to keep your ass alive. But my priority should be on the tank in general, right? Which it is. You see that in these clips. Anyway, yeah, like, it's just, yeah, relearning mechanics. But it's a good thing, though. It's a good thing. I find that to be very beneficial for a lot of these new players, because here we have this patch that's, I would say, very immersive in terms of leveling. That the fact that because these mechanics do a lot more damage, because we can't face roll these bosses. Actually, in this clip, right? Was this clip? No, I think it already passed. Yeah, no, since the fact that we can't face roll the dungeons, we have to learn these mechanics on the spot. I think it's good for new players, because here it makes them a better player. It makes them think like, okay, I know this ability is going to do a whole lot, but I know this mechanic is coming up, so I need to avoid it and then do some damage. They don't just, you know, sit on top of the boss the entire time and just wail on him and expect to get the kill. That's not the case anymore. That really isn't. We're going into like we're going into the actual proper phases that these dungeons were designed to do. You know, they weren't designed to get face roll. They were designed to give us a challenge, in that we were supposed to go through these mechanic phases, learn the fights, and do it properly. You know, I think that's great. I think that's great. Now, obviously, the con is of course, it's going to take a hell of a lot longer to do, which led me to, like I said before, made me want to contribute. Made me want to contribute as much DPS as I possibly could to speed up the fight. Whether or not I was doing that, I don't know, man. But, you know, any damage is better than no damage. So, yeah, that's the con. That's the con, is that it takes longer. But the pros to it is everybody gets to learn something new. You know, every time I got into these dungeons, every time that I got into this new encounter, I was always anxious. I was always anxious, especially towards the end. I was anxious. I was thinking like, okay, what's this guy gonna do? Because obviously, I'm trying to get to endgame as fast as I can, but at the same time, learn as much as I can. So, to be honest with you, I wasn't gonna read the dungeon journal, which I didn't. I didn't read any of the dungeon journal when it came to the vanilla dungeons, and I wanted it to surprise me. I wanted to surprise me, like, what mechanics this boss encounter was gonna give me. Like this clip right here, he put me to sleep. I didn't know I was gonna go to sleep. Put me on this damn sacrificial stone bed. What the hell, man? I never experienced that before, because before the patch, he would have been dead before he even got to this phase, right? Most likely, you know, depending on the people. Again, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, it always made me anxious. I was always anxious to figure out what kind of mechanics I was going to be dealing with, and again, making me think about what abilities I wanted to do. Did I want to use Bestow Faith immediately on the tank as soon as we started the fight, or maybe 5 seconds into the fight? Because I needed to time that. That ability is very time-based, okay? You're not going to get the heal until after 5 seconds. After 5 seconds you cast it, you know, you're not going to get that heal. So, thinking to myself, okay, do I start off in the beginning, or do I wait 5 seconds in to time it just right with the phase mechanic, where it's like a big damaging move to the tank, making it so as if he got hit by the ability but instantly got healed immediately after. That was, you know, that was some of the things I was trying to figure out, trying to plan out. And, you know, I'll get better as you know, as we go along. There's been some real, like, later on, I think fucking towards the end of my vanilla journey, a little bit into the TBC journey, I was making some real clutch plays, man. I'm not gonna lie. I made some real clutch plays with that Bestow Faith timing, and it made me feel so good. I had so much confidence in myself after doing something like that. I'm talking about like a mechanic that would almost instantly kill the tank, or drop him down to 10%, but because I had the Bestow Faith on the, you know, I timed it just right, he would get hit and then immediately get topped off on his HP, and I was like, fuck yes, perfectly timed it. And then of course there was like times where I completely missed it, and I would just overheal, and you know, it's whatever. Just means I gotta wait another 7 seconds before I can use it again.
But nonetheless, in terms of like I said, in terms of the mechanics, it's been a whole lot of fun, and I think the immersion in terms of these dungeons have been so much fun. It's been great to finally discover what mechanics, what dungeon does, what boss encounter does what, and it's made me, like I said, it's made me a better player. I'm able to learn what abilities that I want to use for this fight, as well as prepare myself for this incoming phase that, like I said, a lot of us didn't have to, depending on what X-Pack you came into, you didn't have to experience back then, right? Because of the whole face rolling thing. You would say, well, what the hell is mechanics? You know, especially with leveling up. What the fuck is mechanics? The only reason why I'm in here is just so I can get my bonus EXP. I don't give a shit about anything else, obviously, right? But now this should, and I encourage this to a lot of you newer players, or maybe just, you know, people who haven't discovered this. You know, maybe you played the game in Kata or Mop or whatever, and the heirloom gear just was, you were able to face roll everything in Mop, or you know, back then. But now, if you're coming into, if you're deciding to learn, deciding to level up a new character, especially the allied races, I saw that a lot. There's a whole lot of Lightforged Draenei going on, especially, you know, I mean, I'm repping Alliance, so of course I'm going to see a lot of them. But more so than the Void Elves. Then those of you, you know, it makes you think. It just makes you think, you know, what mechanics are what, I guess. I don't know. I'm stumbling over my words now, but fuck it, we're going to keep it in. You know, basically just trying to say, learn the mechanics. I don't know. That's all I have to say. But it's great. It's great. It's fucking amazing. It's just, yeah, I don't know. And not much to say here. Just like, if you're leveling up a new character and you haven't discovered these mechanics before, I think this is a great opportunity for you to do so. You know, so that the next time, whenever you decide to level up an alt, you come back into this dungeon and you just know them. You know what to do. You know what to expect. I think that's one of the great things about this patch. Okay, in terms of mechanics, and as well as like just making the new players learn something new as well. You know how, like, a lot of the veteran players, I hear this a lot, is like, oh, you don't understand, like, you don't understand what the hell we had to go through when we used to level up without heirlooms, or when things wasn't so face rolled, they never went through it. Well, now they can. Now they can, especially in this old world, you know, the levels 1 through 60 bracket. We have, even with heirlooms, we have this immersion. We have this ability to be able to use our full rotation, and we have things like dealing with mechanics now with the whole leveling experience. Excuse me. And that's something we haven't had in a very long time. And like I said, I think because of that, leveling has gotten way more beneficial, especially for the new players. Like I said, they're learning something new. They're immersing themselves in something new. They have to think more. It's not just tank and spank anymore. It's great. I think it's great. With the cost of course, it taking a whole lot longer. I mean, that's just something you have to deal with. Okay, pros and cons to everything, like I just said. But yeah, it's great. This is good for new players. This is good for brand new, fresh players. And there's a lot of new players coming into the game still, especially since with that new BFA hype. You know, Legion generated a whole lot of hype. There was a whole lot of people that came into Legion when it first released, and I expect the same shit to happen again in BFA. I think they're going to do it right. Of course, you can't please everyone, right? You obviously can't please everyone. But for those people who, you know, they see BFA, they're watching the cinematic, they watch other people play it, they're thinking, oh, damn, this looks like fun. I can get into this. Well, now, you know, if they want to level up an alt, because obviously when they buy BFA, they're going to get the character boost. But if they decide to level up an alt, they can now go through what a lot of us had to in the past. You know, when it comes to relearning these mechanics, or when it comes to discovering these new mechanics, or what the hell mechanics are in general. They can do that now, and it's great. So, yeah, I think I've rambled on a little bit too much about this topic. I'm sorry, I really am. But this is the raw, uncut version. This is just how the commentary is gonna go. So, my apologies, but nonetheless, the episode is really should just be for you know, like I said, your viewing pleasure. You could see these boss encounters and how I deal with the mechanics, how I was learning to adapt to the mechanics, as well as just saying a whole, like a healer's point in general, you know, a healer's perspective. That's the whole point of this video. I didn't want you guys to just watch footage, you know, because that shit gets boring. I think that's boring. If there's no commentary, if there's someone not talking, I get bored. I really do. So hopefully this is a good alternative. And like I said, we got a lot more topics to talk about. And yeah, I wanted to like quickly. I kind of brushed on this topic already, but I just wanted to say like what some of the kinds of players you can run into. And I feel like this is only something that applies to the vanilla content only, because for the sole purpose that you are in vanilla. You're in the vanilla content the longest in terms of leveling. So the kinds of players you're going to run into are obviously the newer players, right? I feel like a whole lot of... I ran into so many new players leveling up in the vanilla content. But as soon as I got into like the Burning Crusade and the Wrath content, I was starting to find more players who knew what they were doing, which is like the ideal. Of course, that's the ideal players you want to run into, you know, someone who knows what they're doing, so you don't stall time and whatnot. But and that's what I noticed, and we'll talk about more of that in the next episode, in terms of like the players you can run into in the later X-Packs. But in terms of the vanilla X-Pack, right, or not the X-Pack, the vanilla content, yeah, you're gonna. I ran into so many new players who obviously, one, they didn't know what they're doing, and two, they didn't know how to play the class. I mean, that's perfectly fine, but I'm just, you know, like I said, I'm just trying to give you guys a heads up of some of the people you can run into. And like I said, this was only in the vanilla content. I don't mean to offend any of you new players or, you know, casual players in general, but one thing I do have to say is please learn how to play your class. That's all I have to say. Because I ran into, and you can obviously tell when they're a new player, there was times where I was out DPSing a whole lot of people, and there was times where I got into a dungeon where tanks didn't know what the hell they were doing. They didn't know how to keep aggro. They didn't know shit. And so the whole dungeon just became a shit show, and it delayed the time. I remember I was in Zul'Farrak once, and it was BRD, Blackrock Depths, right? The tank didn't know what the hell he was doing, and the DPS didn't know how to play their classes. Like, I was out DPSing a mage as a holy paladin. Like, how the hell? I just don't understand. I don't understand. Like, how the hell does a holy paladin out DPS a mage on a boss encounter? That's what I don't understand. But, you know, giving you a better perspective, that's the kinds of people I was running into. And the fights were lasting a lot longer. I swear I was in that bitch over an hour, well over an hour, trying to take care of these bosses and trying to, you know, guide the tank line. Okay, you're gonna go here, you're gonna drop down, we're gonna kill this elemental boss, and we're gonna run up to this boss and get our EXP, re-queue, do it again. And you know, people saying like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know what teleporter you're talking about. What teleporter do you speak of? And they were trying to go the traditional path where you start up at the top and then you make your way down, right? You got all those like side bosses or whatever, and I mean that's fine too. You could do that, but like there's a specific method that a lot of this players don't know and they don't tell you about. Is that, you know, you take the teleporter to whatever the hell that place is called, and then you drop down, kill the elemental boss. You kill walk up to that one room, to your left, and you kill the last boss. Re-queue, do it again. There's a whole lot of groups doing that, but at the same time, there's a whole lot of like casual newbie groups that are doing it the traditional way, which delays the time. It delays it even longer. And like I said, on top of that, some people don't even know how the hell to play their classes. Once again, going back to, I was out DPSing like a rogue one time. I remember out DPSing a hunter. How the hell do you out DPS a hunter? Especially like a mage. I just don't get it. I really don't. So, you know, the more of the topic is like, all I have to say is just, guys, please learn how to play your class. It doesn't hurt to read your spells and abilities. I mean, if you're not gonna read the dungeon journal, and you know, because I didn't, that's fine, and you want to learn the mechanics through surprise or like your first time encounter, that's fine. But at the same time, please, god damn it, please know how to play your class, because it's just so frustrating to me, especially in this patch where you're gonna go through a boss encounter that takes over 5 minutes. You're out DPSing like 2 out of the 3 DPSers, and the fight just seems like it's going nowhere. And of course, me as a healer, it's stressing me the fuck out because I gotta constantly heal you guys. And okay, my mana's getting low. I don't have any pots with me. It's getting a little bit sketchy. I've ran into so many situations like that. I really have, and it's like I said, it gets frustrating. It really does. So please learn your classes, guys. It's very important. Okay, read up on those skills. But you know, this is the only kinds of people I was running into in the vanilla content. For the most part, it was okay. Okay, for the most part, we were okay. I was okay. I was getting a very decent group. Very lucky getting a very decent group in most of these dungeons. I'm just saying like some of the few encounters. And like I said, I don't mean to offend any of the new players or discourage them. It's fine, okay? We were all there once. But I'm just trying to give you a heads up of some things that you could do to improve your gameplay, okay? And not get out DPS by healers. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just give me a little bit of heads up. But anyway, that's just some of the kinds of people that I ran into in the vanilla content. Like I said before, once I got into the BC and the Wrath content, dude, it was like it made a world of a difference. I was doing some quality dungeoning. There were so many people that they just knew what to do, and I'm thinking like this is it right here. These are the people that I have been searching for a while now, or the people that I wish I could always get when I queue up as a healer, right? You know, a tank that knows what he's doing, DPSers that know how to walk out of the damage, and at the same time know how to play their class. Like that's it right there. Those are the people. I was getting nothing but people like that, players like that in TBC and Wrath, which is great. And I'll give you an example. I remember when I was level 58, I was level 58 trying to get to level 60. That shit took me over 2 hours because of like the people I was getting queued up with. 2 hours to get 2 levels, even with the dungeon bonus EXP. It's just for the fact that people didn't know what they were doing, and you had to lead them. You had to hold their hand in every instance, and it was taking a whole lot. It was taking a whole lot longer. Okay, 2 hours to get 2 levels. Whereas once I got into the TBC, from levels 60 to 65. Those 5 levels took me less than an hour. Less than an hour, man, to get 5 levels. Just because I was getting the players, I was getting the tanks that knew what to do, DPS knew how to play the class, and we were re-queuing, and like it was like, this is what I call quality dungeoning right here. We were just like breezing through the dungeons, getting all this bonus EXP. It was great. It was really good. But it's weird to me. It's just, the point is, it's weird to me that once you get out of the vanilla bracket, things go a lot smoother. But like while you're in the vanilla bracket, it's like, it's so random. It's so random, you know, just because, and you know, that really just, that really opens up my eyes to as how many new players are still in the vanilla content. You're always gonna run into newer players in the vanilla content. I mean, it's obvious. Like I said, that you're stuck in there for the first 60 levels, and as soon as you get into the more later X packs, excuse me, you tend to notice. You notice there is there's like a transition. There's like a change in the kinds of players you run into. You know, now we get into the, you know, you get into that TBC, that Wrath, and now you start to notice, well, damn. Now I'm running into people that know how to play the game, or are dedicated to this character. Because I bet some people where they would level up characters from like 30 levels, 30, 40 levels, and they would leave that character. They would switch it up a bit because they get bored. They get bored of the class. They get bored of the class and they try a new one, right? So they're still in that vanilla content. A lot of them haven't even experienced that endgame content or the later expansion content, right? So it just really, once you get past the vanilla, I noticed that it really singles out the people who are dedicated and know how to play from those who are just trying out the game, just trying out some new stuff, as well as like just new players in general, you know. But it's just mind-boggling to me. Like, that shouldn't be the case. It really shouldn't be like that. I encourage newer players to, you know, stick with that class. I encourage you to stick with that class because towards the end of your leveling, you get these awesome abilities. You get a lot of really new abilities that can really change up your gameplay. Obviously, change up your gameplay, right? For like, you know, for like a paladin, I don't get my Avenging Wrath until level 80. But once I get that Avenging Wrath at level 80, oh my gosh, like my gameplay is gonna change up. I got this amazing buff. If I was a ret, my damage is gonna be so much higher. My, you know, if I'm a healer, you know, in my case healing, my heals are gonna be so much higher. My holy shot is gonna do so much, you know, HPS. It's gonna be great, and I'm looking forward to that. So stuff like that you should be looking forward to that, you know. Yeah, you should be looking forward to those higher levels in terms of whatever class you're playing, because like I said, it only gets better. It only gets better. But I mean, I understand. You're just trying to try out this class. You don't know if you're gonna main this. You've done some research, but you don't know if you're gonna main this class. I get that. I fully understand that. But when it comes to a class that you are fully invested in, you're fully dedicated in, I really strongly suggest that you stick with it even past level 60, right? Even past level 60, because like I said, the transition from players you meet in the 60s, in the 1 through 60s bracket and onwards is very different. It's very different. It's as if you stepped into like a brand new community. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird. It's very weird to me. But yeah, excuse me for 1 second while I take a sip of this miso. Talking for a while here. By the way, miso, that's water in Japanese, if some of you happen to give a fuck. But yeah. Anyway, let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Yeah, the moral of the story is, though, or the point I wanted to say is just, like I said, stick with that class. Really learn how to play that class. So you could not only benefit the people that you're playing with, but you're benefiting yourself as a player in general, right? You're getting better as a player, and you're trying to find ways to efficiently do these dungeons, so you know your groups don't get frustrated with you, as well as you know, you get a little bit more respect, I guess, or people see you as like a knowledgeable player, right? So just learn up on that class and stick with it if you're fully invested. If you absolutely know that this is going to be your main, stick with it. Okay, because it only gets better even after the vanilla content. Okay, now obviously that was just my opinion and my experiences. You may say to yourself like, well, I still get players like that in the later brackets, and I mean, of course you do, right? Because you know, there's obviously new players everywhere at any level bracket. But what I'm saying is, it's a lot less. It's a lot less in the later X packs. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Is that you don't run into as much people like that in the later X packs, okay? So, yeah, like I said, I mean, you know, new players are everywhere, but you're less likely to run into them in the later X packs. At least for me, that's how it was, okay? I'm not saying if that's true for everyone. You may just be unlucky, I don't know. But in my case, that's what it seemed to be like. And I've never, like I said, I've never experienced that before. Pre 7.3.5, I've never experienced that before, because everything was just a face roll. So you don't know, you don't communicate with these players, especially when you're just face rolling. Everybody knows what to do. You know, it seems like it, right? You have no idea if this person knows how to do the mechanics, because you're not gonna see the mechanics, and that's just how it used to be. That's how it used to be. You never ran into this kind of issue before. It's not really an issue, but it's just. It's only an issue if you're in a dungeon for over an hour and you still don't know what you're doing. That's obviously an issue. Yeah, no, I just, it's something you don't experience. It's something that I've never experienced before, and that's why I had to talk about it, okay? So, but like I said, new players are everywhere, but in my case, it seems like I'm running a lot less into them as I level up even higher. Wanted to talk about like a little bit into some of the things that I was doing, to level up. Obviously, one of them is to always repair, right? That's something that I learned very early on, midway. I explained that recently. Is that always keep an eye on that durability. You always got to keep an eye on that durability. Now, since you're most likely gonna wipe on some of these dungeons because you can't face roll them anymore. Even if you wipe just once, I would say, you know, check that durability. Okay, the durability cost, because that's obviously something that if you don't check it and you know, one of your gear breaks after just one wipe because you didn't check it for a very long time, that's obviously detrimental to your performance because you're not getting the abilities from that piece of gear that you're using. So, I mean, that's one of the advices I would give, especially now into the into this this patch, right? For the obvious reasons. So, yeah, I wanted to say that. Also, I wanted to talk about like enchants, okay? And this is something that I got off of Jaybird's video, right? Shout out to Jaybird for posting up that levels 1 to 110 leveling guide, because I didn't know these kinds of enchantments existed. I didn't even know that they were this good, especially with leveling up. And that's something I feel like I encourage a lot of you players to get, is these enchants. Okay, I'm talking about like the enchant for the neck, like the Mark of Satyr. That's very good for DPS. I switched over to Mark of the Ancient Priestess because I'm a healer, and that what that does is it randomly heals an ally. Yeah, I think it just randomly heals an ally for X amount of HP, which is always nice. You know, that nice passive enchant heal is always very helpful. So yeah. And other things too, like the binding, right? You got the binding for the cloak. I threw on Binding of Intellect on my cloak. It's been a lot, and because of that, the magnitude of my, you know, having all that intellect, the magnitude of my heals have been very incredible lately, especially when it crits. I feel like I've been able to, like, it just seems overpowered to me because of that small little intellect enchant that scales up with you. It makes a difference. It definitely does. Now, I'm sure it doesn't make that much of a difference, but the fact that it's there, and you know you're getting more as you level up, it feels great. Knowing that you're always gonna have a lot of intellect to heal up, but you know, obviously, it's like that for any other class, right? You know, you do the Binding of Strength, the Binding of Agility. Obviously, your DPS is gonna go up a whole lot, not a whole lot, but it's just like it's a nice little buff, right? And then you got things like the I believe the Elemental Force, right? You got the Elemental Force. That's great too, especially like when doing some DPS. I still have that. I still rock that. The Elemental Force. That was actually an enchant that made me do more DPS than a lot of the regular people, the actual regular DPS players, right? Because I had Elemental Force, because I had that that enchant, I was out DPSing some of the DPSs, right? Because they obviously don't know about it. They're not using it. So they can only do so much DPS, but because I've always had that, I had Elemental Force on, my DPS was definitely, as a healer, a lot higher than it would be, right? So that's an enchant that I strongly suggest everybody get, is at least Elemental Force for your weapons, right? So yeah, that's amazing. Okay, you gotta get that. You gotta get that. And of course, if you have the rings, if you got the rings, you get that word of critical or word of whatever. I don't have the rings, okay, because I never got it from Warlords, because I never played Warlords as much. Once I think I remember once I got to 100 on my main, I did a few dungeons, I did a few raids, but I never committed to it. I got bored very early on, right? So I never did get the ring heirlooms, right? So yeah. Questing through this because I don't have I'm questing through this with the rings, but if you do have the rings, right, you get that the word of whatever, right, enchants, crit strike and whatnot for your ring. So yeah, that's cool. But nonetheless, right, always remember to check your durability, as well as always remember to if you're starting up a new character, get those enchants. Those enchants help out so much. Like I said, shout out to Jayburn for his video, man. That was so helpful. That was so fucking helpful. I loved it. I got those enchants, and I would just, I mean, you saw it. You're seeing it right now. You know, it's very helpful in terms of like utility as well as in terms of like DPS. In my case, it was like a lot of awesome intellect utility and just passive healing. It was great. It was fucking amazing. But yeah, Now, obviously, you can see what I'm doing in terms of like what I did, what I was doing to get past this vanilla bracket. And you can kind of already see what I was doing to level up, right? I was pretty much just spamming dungeons. Doing dungeons is so, like, it's good. It's good again because of that random, the bonus EXP. If you do random queue up for random dungeons, because of that bonus EXP. That bonus EXP is so good, man. Like, I was getting a level every 2 dungeons. Every 2 dungeons! Just because of that bonus EXP, I was leveling up. And that's all I was doing. Because for the sole purpose of me queuing up as a healer, you get like, obviously if you're a healer, if you're a tank, right, you get queue time priority, right? Because every group, like everybody plays DPS, obviously, right? DPS are a dime a dozen. It's the easiest role to play. You sit there and you kill the boss, okay? And you let the healers and the tank do all the heavy lifting, okay? You have the healers that make sure you stay alive, and you have the tanks that make sure you don't get hit. So, yeah, but anyway, in my case, leveling up as a healer, all I did was spam dungeons. That's all I fucking did. It was great. I was getting into dungeons like every 2 minutes. At the most, maybe like 7. Because I've noticed that there isn't a whole lot of tanks that sometimes, like, depending on like the time of day, it's so hard to get a tank. That's what I've noticed. Like, I've noticed if I played a lot later into the day, the server time was getting pretty late. Yeah, it was. I would sit there for a little bit longer than what I'm normally used to. Sometimes 20 minutes plus. As a healer, queuing up as a healer. I would find DPS. I'm queued as a healer, but I sit there for another 20 minutes because there just isn't enough tanks. That's what I noticed. It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, I feel like there just isn't enough tanks. But of course, that led to the sole purpose of, like, whenever you queue up as a tank, you're always expected to know the routes, and I feel like that's something that discourages a lot of people that want to get into tanking. Is that if you don't know the routes, if you don't expect to know the routes, then you have this notion in your head, this expectation that everybody expects you to lead, everybody expects you to know the route. Which, if you get a good group, it doesn't matter, right? You read the map, and as well, you have everyone else help you out with it. But I feel like a lot that it just discourages a whole lot of people just because they have that expectation that they have to lead all the time. They have to know the routes. They have to know the path. If you don't know the path, don't know the routes, people are going to get pissed off. They're going to yell at you. It's going to be like, this is an idiot tank, or whatever. But, I mean, nonetheless, I think you should, if you want to get into tanking, I feel like you should just do it anyway. Like, fuck what everyone says, or ask for their help. If they don't want to help you, then fuck off, right? Do your own path, I guess. Try to learn it yourself, okay? But, that's just what I noticed. There wasn't much tanks being queued up at certain times, but other than that, queuing up for dungeons, I rarely quested. I'll be honest with you, I rarely quested. I quested a little bit, as you saw there. I quested a little bit in Searing Gorge because at that time it was actually really late. I remember that night. Yeah, I remember that night. It was really late and I wasn't getting any. I was queuing up, but there wasn't any tanks available at the time. So okay, I was like, all right, I'll just do a little bit of dungeoning. Do some dungeoning, or no, questing. I'm sorry. Yeah, do some questing, and that's what I did. I did some questing, and I got a few levels from questing. But other than that, it was just random queuing, random dungeon queuing, and it worked out great. It got to the point where I was just sitting in, I was just sitting in Stormwind, just requeuing after requeue after requeue, and that's all I did to get past the vanilla content. And I feel like that's something that actually could be beneficial for some of you players who just want to make alts in general, right? Some of you veteran players, if you want to just quickly level up your character, I'm talking about real quickly, then queue up as a tank or healer. Yeah, that's an obvious one, right? A lot of you veteran players, that is an obvious one. You know to do that. Is fucking just queue up as a healer or a tank and you'll get it immediately. I've never experienced that before because, like I said, I've always been DPS. I was always a rep pally, and now coming into this holy spec, oh look at this, I'm looking at this clip. Oh, these motherfuckers, they didn't know once again, get fucked over by a hunter's pet because they don't know when to. That noob hunter doesn't know when to call his pet back. Whatever.
Yeah, no, that
It gave me a break. I remember that. I remember the Stratham run. Yeah, I was like, oh fuck, you're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me. I'm like, all right, I'm dead. Wait, hey, fuck it. At least I can take a break now. I think this was actually right around the time that my gear wasn't repaired, so my heals were doing a lot less. And as you can see, my mana was a lot lower. I talked about not having much mana issues, but if your gear is shit or not repaired, you're gonna. I ran into mana issues sometimes. It was frustrating. But what the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, queuing up as a tank or a healer. Man, you're gonna level up so fast. You are just gonna level up so fast, especially since the dungeon finder, that bonus EXP, that stuff is good again. Especially since the fact that that's good again, you know, you can just I was just like I said, I was just sitting in Stormwind, requeuing. All right, get my bonus EXP. All right, great, requeue again. That's it. Not much questing. And I'll be honest with you guys, I love that. I love that so much. I'm not much of the questing type. In fact, I try to avoid questing as much as possible. I really do, especially when leveling up. I really try my best to avoid questing. I only quest if I have to, okay? In which there was only 2 general exceptions that I had to make in terms of having to quest. And that was the one time in Searing Gorge, as well as the few times in, I believe, in the Highlands. Yeah, because I actually like questing in the Highlands. It's pretty awesome. I love the scenery, I love the environment in the Highlands. So yeah, that's the only times I had to quest. Other than that, I wasn't questing at all. You know, I wasn't doing it, and I loved it. I fucking loved it. I just don't like, I don't know what it is, but I get bored with questing so fast. And you know, honestly, I feel like you should just do whatever you're happy with, right? Like I know some people say, like, if you're gonna be a DPS, you gotta quest in between your dungeon requeuing. Sometimes, man, I'll be honest with you, I get lazy. Even though I'm a DPS, I say fuck it. I don't mind waiting the 20 minutes. I'll wait for 20 minutes before I, you know, requeue, or no, before I get into the next dungeon if I'm playing a DPS. But now, since the fact that I'm thinking about it right now. Since the fact that things have changed and like a lot of the mobs have scaled up, I may just go to like a zone that's in my leveling bracket, and I may just like grind mobs, like, cause I mean that's just how much I get bored of questing. Like I don't mind it, which is weird to me because it's like I don't mind grinding mobs, but I get bored of like with the questing, which the questing should be a way to you know, it gives you something to do. But I guess it's just the whole, like with me, it's the whole travel time, right? Like the fact that like in some areas, in some questing areas, obviously it was made to, like the questing routes were made to, you know, you having a mount already. But I think it's just the fact that the travel time, I think that's what gets to me. Like I find myself when I'm questing in some of the bigger zones, that I find myself questing way more than I do with playing my class, actually playing my class. And I think that's what gets me. Yeah, thinking about it right now, that's gotta be the reason why I get so bored, is because I'm always constantly traveling and not really playing my class, which leads me to believe which leads me to think that that's probably why I enjoy grinding mobs more, because it's like whatever I see, I just pull it, right? Whatever I see, I pull it, while I'm waiting for a dungeon. That's probably what I'm gonna do. But before that, when I used to just grind mobs in certain levels, that's all I would do. I would just like, I would either like just sit there and wait, or I would try my damn hardest to quest, but I'd get bored very easily. Nowadays, thinking about it, like I said, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go grind mobs while I wait for the next dungeon. Yeah, I won't be getting as much EXP, but the thing is, I won't be as bored, right? And plus, it gives me a chance to practice my rotation, right? If I'm gonna play DPS class, like maybe like a Warlock or something, right? I really like the gameplay of Warlock. Or like Shaman, right? I really love Enhancement Shaman. If I was going to play a DPS melee class, I really like Enhancement Shaman. That shit is amazing. I love the animations and how bursty and fast-paced they are. So, anyway, that's probably what I'm going to do. Yeah, just grind mobs, wait for the, while I'm waiting in the requeue. But in terms of like I was doing right now, that's all I did. That's all I did to get through my my vanilla content was just requeuing. That's it, because it was really just like it was either less than a minute or it was at the most 5 minutes of wait time. And like I said, I've never ever had to experience that before. And being able to do that, oh, again with the mechanic. Look, I died. I died again. Wow. I remember this fight again with the mechanics. They turn me into an enemy and I get killed by a goddamn hunter's pet. It's always the hunter's pet that gets to me. Yeah, that's so stupid. Again, guys, learn the mechanics. Come on now. Learn to adapt. No, what am I trying to say? Learn to recall your pet. If you see your pet wailing on me, don't just fucking let him wail on me, especially if you know I'm the healer. Because look at this fight. Look at this fight. I'm watching it right now. I'm watching the footage as I commentate over this. Look at this shit show. This is an absolute shit show. Look at this. Oh, he needs to be cleansed. Oh, their HP's going down. Oh my goodness. Yeah. See, we wouldn't have this problem if I didn't die. I'm just saying, that guy right there, the top guy, that paladin, he probably wouldn't be losing so much health if I was alive. Yeah, I'm just saying. Somebody did die. He respawned. Or no, maybe he's out of range. I don't know. But, yeah, no. That's all I was doing. I was sitting in Stormwind, requeuing, and it was great. It's fucking great. That's probably what you should be doing as well. If you're going to be a tank or a healer, just do that. Just do that. Yeah. So some other things I wanted to talk about. Looking at my notes. How long have we been going? Nope, sorry. I hit the mic. 1 hour and 20. Alright. Going for 1 hour and 20. Let me take another sip of this water. Let me take another sip of this mizu. Excellent. That's good. That's some good stuff. Very good stuff. Okay. Looking at my things, my notes. Yeah, okay, one more thing I wanted to talk about. I am currently looking for a guild. Now, if you made it this far, okay, you made it this far, and you're in a guild, this is some of the things I'm looking for. Okay. Now, I never said I was a hardcore elitist player. I like playing the game. The gameplay is fun for me. I love how you can do a whole lot of things. You know, it's not just like running dungeons or whatever. You know, you can do a whole lot of things. So I never said I was a hardcore elitist player, which means I am looking for a guild, but at the same time, I'm not looking for a hardcore, you know, excuse me, elitist competitive mythic guild, okay? I'm not looking for anything like that. The kind of guild I'm looking for is, I'm looking for like a kind of not really like a super casual, but like a guild that does end game. Like, I'm looking for like a guild that has a lot of active players, that they're socials, you know, so I can meet some new friends. I'll be honest with you, I have not been in a guild since Mr. Pandaria. Yeah, I really haven't, and I kind of want that experience again. You know, I had a lot of fun with my guild in Mr. Pandaria, and I wanted to get that experience again. Meaning like I want to be able to, you know, meet new people. You know, if you got like an active Discord, that's great. We can talk, chat it up, whatever. But at the same time, I'm not looking for like I said, a hardcore elitist guild. You know, I don't give a damn if you have a mythic rating. If you do, that's cool. But if you just have like a normal to heroic kind of guild or team, and you guys are okay with that, then I don't mind joining that. I really don't. And you got so many people, and you got like people that, you know, I can interact with, and like just meeting new people and getting back into touch with the community, the active community. And you know, maybe doing a little bit of Mythic Plus. That would be awesome. You know, I used to do Mythic Plus on my other server right before, but I don't like pugging. I really don't. I hate pugging, man. Pugging in Mythic Plus to me is just, it's shitty. I don't like it anymore, and I want to just get back into the swing of things in terms of like meeting new people, you know, getting into touch with the community, and just like, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but you kind of get what I'm saying, you know. I just like, let me just meet some genuine players that know what they know how to play the game, but at the same time they're not asking for a big commitment, like a big fucking stressful mythic commitment kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'll be honest with you. I have a lot of things that I want to do, and we'll talk about that. I'm talking about like future plans, so a lot of projects that I'm gonna be doing. So, me being committed to a mythic guild, mythic competitive guild, probably isn't something that I'm interested in. I'm just not, you know. And you know, if you guys do heroic, normal heroic, that's cool too. You know, something that we can bang out in like 1 or 2 days out of the week. That's great. You know, that'd be awesome. At the same time, just like meeting a lot of new active people. Maybe I can get together with like a Mythic Plus group or something. If you need a healer, if you're looking for like a holy paladin healer, then definitely hit me up, I guess. And you can clearly see if you're watching this, I am capable of learning mechanics. I used to play a lot of MMOs that had mechanics that were even harder. Believe it or not, I've played some crazy ass MMOs that had some crazy mechanics. Mechanics that were way harder than the ones I see in WoW. And to be honest with you, mechanics in WoW are so easy to me. You know, like that's the kinds of mechanics I've been through in other MMOs. Like the mechanics I see in Mythic and Heroic WoW is like this ain't shit. This is so easy to deal with, which makes me I don't understand why people can't learn it. You know, like I hear stories. I hear so many stories of people saying like they're in a guild, but they get benched because they don't know how to do the mechanics. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you not know how to do this mechanic? I watch a video on like a raid boss, and I see the mechanics that you have to do, like soak this, or avoid this, stun interrupt this. Like, that's easy. That's some easy shit right there. Easy clap. Absolutely. I can do that. That's some easy stuff to learn and adapt to, you know? So I don't understand. I don't understand why people get benched for not knowing the mechanics, because mechanics are easy. But anyway, getting back to like what I was saying, like I'm capable of learning mechanics, okay? I really am. Learning and adapting to mechanics, I can do it. It's easy for me, okay? Like I said, I've played in some really mechanic heavy, intense MMOs before, and the WoW mechanics are, it's nothing that I haven't seen before. Let's just say that. It's nothing that I haven't seen before, and it's easily adaptable. So, you know, if you're worried about stuff like that, don't be, okay, when you're picking me up, okay, when you're, yeah, I don't know. So, you know, learning mechanics in Mythic Plus, as well as like normal heroic, whatever, I can do that. That's easy, okay. But at the same time, I would like a guild to, you know, for you guys to have maybe like some active players I can socialize with. You know, you guys got an active Discord. That'd be awesome. That'd be so awesome. You know, like I said, I would just want to get back into the swing of things of you know, what the whole guild experience is like, because I haven't experienced the guild life in a very long time, especially in WoW. It's been a very long time. So yeah, like I said, looking for a guild. You know my standards, and yeah, I just hit me up, I guess. Comment or hit me up on any of my social medias. It's all linked in the description box below. Yeah, that's just what I'm looking for. So yeah, looking for a guild, and yeah, let's move on already. I keep saying yeah. I'm sorry. This is, like I said, uncut, unprofessional. This is like the genuine me. Yeah, this is me you're talking to right here, okay? This is easy life. This is how I am when I'm just talking to people, my friends or whatever. So I wanted to touch up a little bit on like my future plans, as well as like for like the future of this series. So there's actually a whole lot of projects that I'm working on the side of this series. And it's hard to say because and it's still very early, and I don't want to say what I'm doing because I'm afraid that people will steal my ideas. So yeah, not really trying to reveal what I'm trying to do, but just know that it's something extremely awesome. I don't know, like it's definitely something that's going to be worth watching. So I mean, that you can already tell that it has something to do with content, you know, of course, something for your viewing pleasure, but it's something that, you know, some of the projects that I'm working on, it's something that not a whole lot of people are doing. In fact, with the one project that I'm doing in particular, it's very entertaining, but at the same time, I've only seen one other person do this. That's it. I'm not even joking. I did my research. I looked up on YouTube. I was like, okay, I want to get into this particular field of content. Who is doing this as well? And I only found one person. I only found one person who does this kind of content, and I'm not going to reveal his name. Because if I do, then that's gonna give away the project, or like something similar as to what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm not gonna give out the name. Okay, but yeah, there's only one other person in this entire WoW community that does this kind of content. Okay, and I'm gonna be doing something similar, but of course I'm not trying to steal this content creator's ideas. I'm just kind of taking the same topic, the same idea that he does, and I'm making it my own. I'm not copying in any way. All right, it's just I feel like this is the kind of content that a lot of people enjoy watching, but there just isn't enough of it in this community, which is something that kind of disappoints me. It really disappoints me, and it kind of inspired me to want to do this as well. Try it out. It's something new for me as well. Like, I haven't ever got into this kind of production, but I'm curious. But I'm getting into it, you know, and I'm learning the basics of how to produce this kind of content, and I think it's gonna be awesome. I think you guys are really gonna love it, because with the content that the other content creator that I was talking about, his content, it's well received and it's awesome, which really makes me think that the community can really appreciate this kind of content. You see how vague I'm being, though? By the way, I can't reveal what I'm doing, because if I say what I'm doing, then I feel like some people will steal the idea. I'm so sorry, I really am, but I can't do this. I just cannot reveal what it is. It's too early into the project, okay? But just know that there is so much more content. There's so much new stuff, so much stuff that barely anybody has. I'm producing it for you guys, okay? And I encourage you, when this content does come out, which is going to be this year, okay? I can't give you a specific date, but I can give you a general estimate when this kind of content is going to be out. And it's going to be out near the launch of BFA, okay? That's how long it's going to take for me to set up this kind of content, okay? But once I set it up and once I release it near the release of the next expansion, we're going to get the ball rolling. And I'm going to be producing content like this, especially if it gets well received. It's going to be like one after the other, if you kind of get what I'm saying, okay? I have so many brainstorming ideas of what I can do for this project, and I'm willing to execute it in a very efficient manner in terms of time, right? I'm not trying to make something and then leave you guys hanging for like months at a time. No, once I get everything set up with this kind of content, or with this project, it's gonna be fucking amazing. I'm talking about, like, each week there'll be something new and exciting for you guys to watch. So just note that something big is in the works that nobody except one person does, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. I have so much confidence in this project that like I said, I can't reveal it. I can't even give you guys a hint. I mean, if some of you can figure it out, then bravo, kudos to you. More power to you. But like I said, this kind of content just isn't put out enough in terms of WoW, right? In terms of WoW content. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, so there's that project, and then I have another project that I'm working on. Well, I'm not really working on it. It basically just involves another game. So I play a variety of games, but the one other game that I actually play the most, right next to WoW, is actually VR Chat. Yeah, VR Chat. If some of you probably know, VR Chat, are very familiar with it. It's gotten a whole lot of hype recently. Well, it has been. I think towards the end of last year, it got so much hype, and there's still a lot of hype around it right now. But of course, there isn't a whole much, right? The peak of the hype is kind of gone, but it still has a very concurring community, which is great. And yeah, so I play VR Chat on the side, and this is actually another project that I'm currently working on. Is sorry for saying a lot, by the way. Very uncut, very unprofessional. The other project that I'm working on in terms of VR Chat is I'm trying to produce a whole lot of, I want to start making like VR Chat videos, like highlight videos. This is a project that I could say, because it's like a lot of people are doing it right now, and I feel like, I'm not saying a lot of people who do VR Chat videos are bad content creators. I'm just saying I think I could do better. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. I'm not trying to sound like a fucking egotistic, narcissistic bastard, but I see some of these videos in VR chat, like these VR chat videos, and I'm thinking to myself like, you could have done better. I think you could have done better, you know? So, and I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Well, some of you at least. You're saying, well, you can do better, why don't we see it? And that's something that I'm going to be showing you guys very soon, very upcoming. You know, I actually have everything set up. I've had everything set up to do this for a while, to make VR chat videos for a while. But like I said, it's just something that I'm interested in, you know. And it's the other game, like if I ever need a break from WoW, this is actually a game that I actually go to. I actually play this game just to relax and like socialize with a lot of new people, you know, as well as like just like have fun, you know. It's fucking amazing. Like some of these maps that these people make, it's so cool. It's so freaking cool. I love it. And just like virtual reality gaming is getting so much, like that's the future of gaming right there. By the way, is that virtual reality gaming is starting to gain a whole lot of hype, and people are starting to realize that this is the future. This is the future. So you know, especially since the fact that you know VR technology is getting way better. I feel like it's going to come to the point where we may not even need controllers. We just need a headset. All we're going to need is a headset. And we'll be in there, kind of like similar to like SAO, right? Sword Art Online. If those of you have watched it, yeah, similar to something like that. And we're kind of already seeing that. I don't know if you've seen this, but like HTC Vive, the Vive has actually announced that, or HTC has actually announced back in January that they're coming out with like a tetherless VR machine, VR whatever headset, which means that. Which is I think it's called the HTC Vive Pro, and that is gonna be tetherless, which means there's gonna be no wires attached to it. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, free roaming VR. This is gonna be great. This is the fucking future right here, man. This is it, future technology, and it's gonna have like 3D spatial audio, like oh the immersion in VR is gonna be, it's so good this year. Like there's so much like VR hype that's gonna be happening, I feel like, this year. And anyway, getting back to this project, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm thinking about sharing my experiences, sharing my VR experiences with you guys, right? So many people are doing it, and I don't see why I can't do it either. I have a lot of fun in VR, and I feel like a lot of you guys should see me in my in my most genuine moments, you know, like in the highlights. I can tend to overreact to a few things, like over exaggerate it, but it's not because I'm doing it on purpose. It's just how I am. When I get into something so much, like you see the real me. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I'm just not that kind of like guy who is like super chill and like monotone all the time. If I'm playing a game and I get super excited, like fuck, you're gonna see my reactions. Like, I get hype. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's hard to explain it without saying it. So just to leave it in broad terms, I may be doing some VR chat videos in the future. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and yeah, you're gonna see some crazy commentary. I don't know. Let's just leave it at that. So yeah, VR chat videos coming up. And it's gonna be like a side series, so it's like if you don't want to watch it, then obviously you don't have to, right? And you know, that's another thing too, is like if you don't like the person you're watching, then obviously don't watch their content. But I guess I just want to put a little bit more variety, and I want to share my experiences in other games and another game that I've been playing with you guys, right? So yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna be doing. So look out for that in the future. Some VR chat videos in the future, some highlights very soon. Actually, like I said, I have everything set up. It's only a matter of time before I get the next video out. I think the reason why I haven't been doing that is just because I'm so tied up with this series. I have so many other things that I'm doing throughout the day, right? Get up and work and like go to the gym and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of things that I have to I guess work around in terms of like time efficiency. But the reason why I think I haven't been doing that is just because I've been so busy with this series, which isn't a bad thing. I love this series. Like the Journey to Expert Healing series I'm having a lot of fun with it. I really am. Just like going through the old content and trying to level up as like a new spec. I think that's great. I'm loving this new experience. So yeah, I think that's just the reason why. Thinking about it right now, yeah, that's probably the only reason why. Plus, I'm working on the other project, right? The other project that I can't can't reveal right now because it's a very secret project. Yes, but yeah, that's the whole reason why. So like I got a lot of things on my plate right now that I'm doing. In terms of like future plans and whatnot, but just know that this year is going to be great. This year is going to be great for content, and I'm so excited to get this content out to you guys as soon as I can. So, but other than the secret project, other than this series, we got some VR chat going on, and it's going to be great. Which leads me to another topic is live streaming. Yeah, so live streaming is something that I wanted to get back into for a very long time. So when I played the past MMO, the other MMO that I used to play before it died out, I used to live stream that a few times, and that was on Twitch. Okay, so I used to live stream on Twitch for the other MMO that I was playing, and it was fucking amazing. I loved it. It was a great experience. I think the reason why I stopped is just because I got too. Honestly, thinking back on it, I just got too busy. Yeah, I was really busy and I couldn't balance things out. And I guess I think I was just a little bit insecure about things as well. I do like certainty where, you know, scripted things or when things get planned out. I kind of do enjoy that, and that's the reason why I'm more comfortable making videos than I am live streaming. But live streaming, I feel like it's still good content because it's like you get the genuine reactions of the person you're watching. You get to know the person a bit more than when you would have if just seeing like a scripted video or whatever. So that's something I'm probably gonna be doing in the future. But I'm probably gonna be doing it on YouTube. See, that's another thing I want to talk about is that I have everything set up on YouTube and Twitch, but I think the reason why I'm gonna be streaming on YouTube more is just because the convenience. I think that's the only thing that's the only reason why is just the sense of convenience. Meaning I don't have to redirect you guys to another website to watch my live streams. I can keep it all on one platform, which I think is just very convenient overall. Okay, YouTube streaming, it has been getting big, but obviously Twitch is always going to be the #1. But I feel like they're just, if you look at it in terms of like the content creator, it just makes things a lot more easier and it makes things a lot more convenient. Like I said, you don't have to redirect someone to another platform to watch the live streams. Meaning, like, in terms of live stream on YouTube, it's like I can stream on YouTube, and I can make videos on YouTube, and I could talk to you guys through the community tab on YouTube, and it's all on one site. It's all on one site, and it's like if you want to watch all my content, you could go to my YouTube page on one platform, right? You don't have to. You don't gotta like switch up the. You know, if you want to watch a VOD, right, a live stream VOD, and if you stream it on YouTube, you just go to the one platform. You don't have to redirect yourself to Twitch and watch the VOD from there. I mean, obviously a lot of people don't mind it, which is great, but in terms of like convenience, I think that's the only reason why I'm gonna try it out. Now, obviously, if it doesn't work out, I'll go back to Twitch, right? I will always go back to Twitch. Like I said, I have everything set up on both platforms, but I just want to give it a try. That's really, besides the convenience, I just want to give it a try. So I'm gonna try live stream a lot more this year. I think after maybe the series is over, the Journey to Expert Healing series is over, then I'm probably gonna be live streaming like my end game stuff. So like, you know, just like typical WoW streams. And you know, if you want to do like World Quest, or if I'm doing like Mythic Plus, you'll see my perspective as obviously as a healer. You'll see how I get to play in real time. And just anything in general in terms of like after the series is over, in terms of leveling, I may, and when it comes to leveling, I may even live stream my next character that I level up, right? Because I'll be honest, there's like there's still classes and characters I never got to try in WoW, so I may live stream the leveling series, right, for the next character. So, but you know, that's just all ideas. It's all up in the air. One thing I do think I want to stream is actually my VR chat stuff. Yeah, that's something that because streaming VR, it can be complicated, but at the same time, it's not that hard. It really isn't. So I'm thinking about not only making like VR chat videos, but I'm probably gonna start live streaming them as well. I'll start live streaming VR chat on YouTube, right? Like I said, the whole convenience thing, and just trying something out, trying it out in general, and we'll go from there, right? So yeah, that's one thing I probably am gonna stream, in terms of like the fucking like the projects that I'm working on is yeah, some VR chat stuff. So yeah, how long have we been going? How long have we been going? An hour and 44. We're actually almost done. And wow, holy shit, it's been an hour and 44 minutes. Okay, okay, we're actually almost done. We're like, the episode is coming to the end, and if you made it this far, then you heard everything. You know, you you've dealt with everything I've had to say up at this point. I love you. This is your support means the world to me. I'm glad you're able to make it this far, and if you're not, then it's fine. It's totally fine. I can understand. You know, this is a very lengthy episode. I get it. And this is the whole reason why this is going to be the only episode that's this long. Not everybody has 2 hours to watch some stuff. It's like a movie, man. But like I said, more of a podcast. This is more of a podcast. But yeah, no. So thinking about live streaming some WoW stuff. After this project is over, this Journey to Expert Healing series is over. As well as some VR chat stuff, because why not? Like I said, that's the other game that I play on the side. Whenever I need a break from WoW. And fuck it, I have a lot of fun in there, and I feel like I said, there's a lot of reactions that should have been recorded, but wasn't. And if I can get it in a live stream, that'd be even better, right? You guys can watch the raw uncut version, and then we'll take it and make it into like a highlight or something, you know? Because who cares? Who gives a shit? But anyway, yeah. So that's the whole live streaming thing. I'm trying to. I want to get back into it even more this year. Like I said, I streamed a few times last year, but trying to like get better at it this year, since that seems like the thing that's going around that a lot of people are doing. There's so many streamers now this year, or there was, like, I feel like 2017 was like the come up for so many streamers. It's crazy. And this year it's just getting even bigger, and I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to get in on that. You know, I'm trying to like fucking not so be insecure with myself, and you know, not rely on like scripts and like certainty and planned out whatever, and just fucking like just stream. Like, who cares? You know, that's what I need to do. You know, so it's a little bit of like, I want to do it, but at the same time I'm battling it out with my, I don't know, my conscience. I don't even know. This, you know, me commentating over this is actually helping me out a lot, because I probably wouldn't be commentating something this long. You know, I probably just like, I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to explain it. It's crazy. I guess it's like the raw uncut stuff, right? I wouldn't be comfortable with posting raw uncut stuff, but at the same time, like I said, you get to know me more on a personal level, and you get to hear my genuine responses, and it's not cut up, it's not edited. It's just like the genuine me. I'm sitting here, fucking commentating, and watching the video at the same time, watching the footage, this montage. Another thing, I just noticed something. I keyboard turn a lot. I need to break out of that habit. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that, but I actually keyboard turn a lot when I never used to do that. I never fucking used to do that. I just realized that I do that now, unintentionally. I need to break that habit and just use the mouse, because it's a lot quicker. I think I do that just because it's convenient for me, because I always keep my mouse on the tank. That's gotta be it. Is that I always keep my mouse on the tank, so if I right click to change my view and my mouse is over the tank, I right click his name and I get that panel of information. So I think that's the whole reason why I keyboard turn, which is kind of my fault, because all I need to do is take my mouse off the HP bar and just turn. But I don't know. It's a small habit. I gotta break out of it though. But yeah, that's what I noticed. So yeah, let me take another sip of this, man. My throat is getting dry, man. It's getting hard for me to talk. Yeah, it's been quite a while since I've had to commentate something this long. Yeah, maybe I should take a commercial break. Yeah, right. What the fuck is this? TV? Hell no. What the hell? Ain't no commercial breaks. So yeah, I haven't had to commentate something like this in a very long time. So this was quite the experience. I'm not gonna lie, this was quite the experience. Let's see. What else do I want to do? We got quite some time left. I think maybe like 20, 25 minutes. Yeah, 25 more minutes. Okay. All right. So, all right. I guess I'll talk about this for a little bit. Some general discussion stuff. I wanted to. I'm just gonna stop talking, man. Fuck it. I talked a little bit about the Battle for Azeroth Paladins. I think how they're gonna be great. I think Retribution is making a lot of changes. Oh, one more. Oh yeah, something I remembered about BFA Pally is that the holy light. Excuse me. The holy light animation I remember is getting a revamp. It looks pretty fucking cool. Like he takes out. I don't know if you saw it, but he takes out like a book and he starts flipping the pages. When he's casting the spell, which fucking looks awesome to me. I really feel like it fits the lore of the Holy Paladin a little bit more. So I think that's a really cool animation. I'm not gonna lie, like that is a sick ass holy light animation. So that's cool. That's something I thought I was really excited about. And I think whenever you get the silver hand, don't you get like a book that you get like a book that you have on your piece of armor or something like that? I think so. So I mean, it'll look really cool if you transmog into the silver hand. You have that book, that silver hand book that you have on your side, and then it's like you pull that book out. That'd be so cool. That's probably not the case. That's probably not what's gonna happen. It's a different book, but I mean the look of it I think it fucking looks awesome. I think it adds to it even more. So yeah, that's one thing I really liked about the Holy Paladin, that they changed up that spec, or the skill animation. I'm really loving the new animations too, by the way. I know it's kind of old to say that, but because we've had the skill animation revamp for a while now, but I'm really enjoying it. I just like the updated animations in general are just awesome, and it's great to see that they're continuing to update animations as well as we get into the next X pack. So that's fucking cool. So yeah, I think that's about it in terms of the Paladin for BFA. I mean, I touched upon like the Retribution and why I think it's gonna be great, because you know we get some skills back, some skills get revamped, and I think it's gonna be very good for our gameplay. I think one thing I noticed about Holy Paladin though is that they put you back. I've seen some videos that they put you back to the one-handed mace and the shield, which makes me think, how the hell are we gonna transmog into the silver hand when it's a two-hander, right? It's a two-handed mace. How are we gonna spec into that when we only use if we go back to the shield and the mace? I don't know. My theory is you're gonna get like the best of both worlds kind of thing. Like you're gonna be able to. There's gonna be it's just a theory, okay? I'm not saying this is gonna happen for real, but the theory is you're gonna have like a one-handed mace that drops that has intellect on it, but you're also gonna have maybe like a two-handed mace. Like you're gonna get two kinds of maces with intellect that drops, and whichever one you use, you can transmog into the silver hand. If not, then you gotta use the traditional one-handed mace and shield. I don't know. That's just my theory of what's gonna happen, because honestly I really don't know what they're gonna do, because if that's the case, if they put us back with the one-handed mace and the shield, fucking rest in peace silver hand appearance transmog, because you're not gonna be able to use it. It doesn't make sense. So I mean that's one concern I have, but I'm sure it's still early on, right? It's still early on in the stages. They're gonna work it out. They're gonna work it out. So I don't think it's too much of an issue. I was kind of disappointed though, was that they were making the forced personal loot. I think some content creators actually made videos about this. Yeah, I remember seeing like Asmongold's video, right? He made the forced personal loot thing, and I have to agree with him. I really do, because it doesn't make sense for me that everybody has to be forced to do personal loot, and it just, in terms of like, you know, the higher end guilds. It doesn't make sense to me, because now you're gonna be having these instances where people who maybe have like bad attendance or just aren't pulling their weight, there's a chance they could get a piece of gear. and it's out of your control. It's out of your control. That's something that's stupid. I really don't think they should take out master looting. I really don't think they should take that out. I really don't. Like, it just doesn't make sense in the long run, especially for the high-end guilds. It just really doesn't. You know, you got a fucking player that just sucks ass and like can't pull his own weight, bad attendance, you know, terrible attitude, whatever. But he shows up because he knows he has a chance of getting a piece of gear. It doesn't make sense. And then of course you have that player who does everything right, has great attendance, but doesn't get a piece of gear. That just, I mean, of course, at the end of the day, you can always funnel the person that deserves it. But at the same time, if the person who has shitty whatever is in a, like, you know, doesn't pull his weight and he gets a gear, why should that person feel obligated to give that, to trade the gear when he has it? Like, I have this piece of gear, I don't feel like giving it up. Why should I give it up? That kind of attitude, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense to me why they would take that out. So that's something that I'm a little bit concerned about in terms of like endgame stuff. As to some things of that, why they're doing that. I really think they should just leave it in there. The system was working fine as it is, and it has been working fine for a decade. I don't know. And I can see why, thinking about it now, or I have been for a while, I can see why it triggers a lot of people. And it brings up a lot of uproar in terms of the community. So, yeah, that's something that they should definitely fix. It's a forced personal loot thing. Like, that shit needs to be fixed immediately. They need to just keep the system how it is. It's fine. I don't know. Blizzard does what they do, right? So we'll see what happens, right? We will see what definitely happens. What else? Wanted to talk about, like, maybe like the allied races. There were so many people that was concerned about the allied races, right? The alliance was getting the shitty end of the stick, and I can see why they think that, right? You know, the whole Zandalari trolls and their new druid forms and whatnot, and like the whole like they get more customization options in terms of like the orcs, right? The upright orcs and all of that, and the fact that like Alliance wasn't getting as many cool, quote unquote cool allied races. I can see why they're pretty mad about that. But at the same time, didn't it kind of get resolved? Like, didn't they kind of hint that we were getting Kotiran allied races? I think that's what they were trying to do, or we're getting, is some Kotiran races, allied races for the Alliance. Another thing that just recently got upward, though, was that the fact that they may actually be able to play the Druid. Like, there's going to be, the first time in history, there's going to be a human class, a human race that can actually be a druid. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm not trying to get in this whole drama thing. I just kind of find it funny that people actually get pissed off about that. But, you know, it makes sense. You know, some people are really just into the lore, and they're just so not used to seeing stuff like that. And it just doesn't make sense for humans to be druids. I get that. I get that. But at the same time, someone pointed out that maybe they're not necessarily druids, but because of WoW, they have to be called druids. Like, there's some kind of like shapeshifter that has different magic in terms of like, it's not like the whole nature thing and whatnot. They're just some sort of shapeshifter. But like I said, because of the way WoW is and the way it's set up, like they have to be that way. And, you know, like I said, you know, I can see why some people can get a little bit triggered by that. But in me personally, if you want my opinion, I think it's unique. I think it's like, it's something different. It's obviously something we haven't experienced before. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's definitely interesting in the fact that we, you know, like I said, we haven't seen this before. It's new. I'm always up for something new. I don't agree with a lot of things Blizzard does, but this one I kind of just don't mind it. I really don't mind it. I don't mind it as much the whole personal loot thing. Like, I'll be honest with you, the personal loot thing, that probably is going to piss me off the most, unless they do something about that, right? Unless they fix it up or something like that. That's what's going to piss me off the most right now. But other than that, with the allied races thing, I don't mind it. Like, it is what it is. People wanted new races to play as, and I feel like now there may be some hope for the Alliance in terms of, like, you know, being fair with the other faction, right? Because at one point, maybe even right now, it's like one faction has it's just overall better to play. Like the leveling experience, the races to play, the new forms, models and whatnot. I guess I don't know how to explain it. Just seemed a lot better than the Alliance, right? And guys, at the end of the day, it's still very early on, too. That's the thing. Like, we're still fucking in alpha. There's so many changes that are going to be happening as we get closer to the release date. So I don't know. We'll see what they do, right? We will see what they do. They'll fix it. They will fix it, though, right? Even though they may not listen to the community a whole lot, sometimes there may be a silver lining. They may do. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But I just think I think it'll work itself out, you know. And at the end of the day, whatever they decide to do, we'll have to deal with it. You know, it's either deal with it or don't play the game at all, right? That's what it's come down to. But hopefully, in terms of like the personal loot thing, I like low-key, I really hope there is a huge uproar and it makes them realize that, oh fuck, we fucked up big time. We need to change this back now, because that's something that I really don't think needs to be taken out of the game. The whole master loot thing. So yeah, let's try to keep that. Let's try to keep that. That's something we do need to keep. But in terms of like BFA stuff, I'm looking forward to the gameplay. I really am. So they made that new island expedition thing, and it looks interesting. And I really hope that it's worth going in there, because right now I do believe, for the people who have actually played the expeditions, it's like a cakewalk, right? Like the AIs, they're pretty easy to do. And like you win the battle before you even get to experience the whole thing. You don't really know what kinds of rewards we're going to be getting in the island expeditions, but I really hope they make it worth our while. Like, I don't want it to be something that, oh, we have to fucking do to get, you know, in order to get some kind of reward at the end of the week, or you know what I mean, like it's something stupid. I want it to be like rewarding. Like if you do this, then, you know, obviously the higher difficulty that you do, the better gear that you get, and I just want it to be worth it. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be kind of like how Mythic rating is right now, where as like, well, in terms of Mythic rating, Titan Forging definitely is a big factor, but I don't want it to be kind of like Mythic, where it's like the rewards aren't as great, but you're putting yourself through all this fucking stress and constant, like basically unnecessary stress. Like, why put yourself through that when you can just do heroic and Titan Forge gear that's better than Mythic gear? You know what I'm saying? Just stupid little shit like that. Just I hope the island expedition thing is very worth our while. Okay, I don't want it to be like another thing we have to do. So yeah, I'm hoping for that kind of stuff. That's just like my general opinion. Obviously, it's still early on in the stages. We have to see what's going to go on. I would hope, and you would think, that they would put a lot of effort into something new, right? In the fact that we're not just mindlessly going in there for fucking, I don't know, something stupid, a stupid piece of, like a low piece of gear, when we can just do a dungeon that's even easier and get a better piece of gear, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I want it to be worth it. You know, give us a good reason why we should do this expedition. You know, all the time or whenever we can. So, anyway, yeah, I'm really hoping for that. Trying to think of, look back on my notes. I kind of forgot what some other stuff that we're going to talk about. I think, you know, for the most part, I pretty much talked about everything that I wanted to say. Yep, allied races, all that, BFA paladin, whatever, personal loot. Yeah, the last thing I wanted to talk about is I hope they add more, like, customizations to our characters, right? That was something that was in the Q&A a lot, that people were asking, is it for more customizations for their characters? I do actually want that. I really do. I know it's not a priority. You know, they said it wasn't a priority, but I hope they add something in. You know, like if they're able to add allied races in, I don't see why they can't add a little bit more cosmetic stuff to our characters. They would add a little bit more variety. I think a lot more people would be happy, and I think it just spices up the overall cosmetic look of your characters. So, yeah, because I know like some people, like some characters are just like very limited on their cosmetics, and they're not too happy about that. So, I mean, it's not a big issue, and I know I can see why it's not a priority, but at the same time, it would please a lot of people. I think it would, at least. But yeah. Let's see. I wanted to check up, let's see. We could do some, like, maybe check out what the comments are in the previous episodes. Again, I'm sorry this next episode, episode 3, took so long to release to you guys, but I kind of wanted to edit something. I don't know. I wanted to give something that, one, not a whole lot of people have done before, and two, I've been so busy with the other projects, like I just explained before a few minutes ago, that I've been working on the other projects. So yeah, just a lot of key factors. I'm not trying to make excuses or anything. Just know that things have been busy, but I'm trying my best. I am trying my best. So yeah, sorry about that. But more episodes on the way, man. Next episode is not gonna take it's not gonna be a 2-hour episode at all. It's probably gonna be like a 10 to 15 minute episode, and it's gonna go by fast, man. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for more the next episode. Let's see. Actually, did I reply to all the comments in the first episode? I think I did. Yeah, I did that. Oh, there's one comment I didn't actually reply to. What was the music in the montage in the beginning? I like it a lot. That song is actually called An Ocean... No, Live Like This by An Ocean Alive. Actually, I should reply to that instead of saying it. That is... that song is... Blah, blah, blah. Live Like This. This by Ocean Alive. Wait, no, An Ocean Alive, I think, yeah. It's a band that I think they broke up a long time ago. But that one hit that they made, Live Like This, is the song that I used in the first montage. Levels 1 through 10, at least, yeah. Yeah. Sorry for the late reply, man. There we go. Okay. Very good. Okay. Last thing I think I wanted to cover was the plans for this series is. Okay, so the way I have it planned out, the way I have it mapped out, is you obviously just saw the vanilla content. The next episode is going to be from 60 to 70. Yeah, 60 to 70. And that's going to be through the Wrath dungeons as well as the TBC dungeons, right? I'm still continuing the dungeon spamming for the obvious reasons, you know, healer, whatever, low Q times, all of that. So that's obviously going to be going on. Let me see how much time I have left. Okay, not that much time. And then next up, I'm going to Karazhan, and we're going to do a Karazhan edit, okay? Karazhan montage edit, so look out for that very soon. I'm going to be doing that. That is levels 70 to 80. From there, I'm going to go do mob dungeons from 80 to 90. We'll do then from 90 to 100. Obviously, going to be just questing in Draenor, probably getting the treasures and the bonus objectives. That's going to be like an edit. We'll probably do an edit instead of like a long, boring-ass fucking questing, you know, let's play that you see all the time. We'll spice it up, make a montage, an entire leveling montage. And then from 1 to 110, that'll be easy. That'll be like dungeons as well as Legion invasions. I have flying, I got Legion flying, so that's not going to take a whole lot either. We'll probably do an edit. No, it'll be probably like a really fast edit, but not like a montage edit. And I'll probably do an Argus edit, yeah. So when I hit the Argus to finish up the end game content before I start gearing, is probably do some Argus. Maybe I'll do an episode on my professions. This guy is a jewel crafter and an enchanter, but who knows? I'm not too sure. But yeah, we'll finish it off with the Argus, maybe a profession, and then after that, maybe I'll just start live streaming my end game with this character, if that's something that you're interested in. If not, I'll just do it because who gives a shit? Just stream for the fun of it. Yeah, okay, I think that's about it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much if you made it this far. I love you so much. Your support means the world to me. If you have any questions at all, leave it in the comment section below. Share this with your friends, family, and all that. You'll hear it in the end outro. But thank you so much if you made it this far. I know it was a long one. I really hope this video actually helped you in some way. You know, you can learn some mechanics of the vanilla boss dungeons from all the encounters that I've encountered, especially from a healer's perspective. Some of the things that you have to be aware of, how much damage your allies are going to take and all that. And yeah, man, other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is the only long episode that's going to be in the series. I appreciate all the support. stay tuned for more to come. And I guess that's it, man. I hope you're all having a very easy day. Like I said, I love you all as always. And this has been the One Man Army, Mr. Easy for Life. And I'm out. Peace. Oh, also, I just wanted to mention that you got a little bit, enjoy the rest of the footage, by the way. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the footage. There's only about 5 minutes, but if you want to sign out and you leave now, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, there's only like 5 more minutes left in the video. If you want to check out, it's actually a little bit of a bonus, feature. I did a little bit of Hellfire Ramparts, so yeah, a little bit of a bonus thing. We one TBC dungeon. So yeah, if you want to check it out, man. This is the mechanics for the TBC dungeon for this encounter, yeah, they're actually it's quite different. I actually went through a mechanic on the second boss that I haven't experienced before, so that was kind of interesting. But other than that, just the one TBC dungeon, and I'm out of here. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the footage and all that jazz. Thanks, guys. Love you all. Have an easy day. I'm out. Peace. Thanks for watching today's video, guys. It really means a lot to me. If you like what you see, then don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button below. Or better yet, hit that bell you see on the screen now in order to get notified when a new video gets uploaded. Now, all my social media links are in the description box below, and if you don't give a shit about any of that, then just go ahead and share this video with your friends, share this with your family, or even share this with your mom. Any support at all is greatly appreciated. I love you guys as always, and I hope you're all having a very easy day. Stay tuned for more to come, and this has been the One Man Army, Mr. Easy for Life, and I'm out. Peace!